On the 7th of March 2018, 30-year-old Georgina Gharsallah, whom had recently moved back in with her mum after a breakup with her boyfriend, left her mother's house in Worthing. She told her mother Andrea of her plans to go to the job centre, citizens' advice and run various errands in town like meeting her dad to collect a new phone. Unfortunately, this was to be the last conversation Andrea had with her daughter. At 9:30am, Georgina was spotted on CCTV in a local shop, and was spotted again on CCTV at 4 o'clock on Chapel Road walking past a subway. She never attended her job centre appointment and never met up with her dad to collect the phone. Initially, for a few days, Andrea thought Georgina was staying with friends, but decided to contact the police when she had not heard from her. Police were not too concerned to begin with until they discovered that Georgina's bank card had not been used since the day she was last seen. From there, they began to take the case more seriously and passed it over to Major Crimes. Georgina's ex-boyfriend was investigated before being cleared of involvement. In 2019, Sussex police changed Georgina's case from a missing person to a homicide. So far, from my research, there doesn't look to have been any evidence or real sightings of Georgina since. There has been no closure for Georgina's family, including her 2 children. If you have any information that could assist in this case, Crime Stoppers UK are offering a £10,000 reward for any information that can lead to an arrest and conviction of those responsible in Georgina's disappearance. If you would like to know more about Georgina's story and keep up to date with it, Georgina's mother Andrea has a TikTok account, and it would be amazing if you could drop it a follow. It is @FindGeorginaGharsallah. You can also make a difference yourself. Use the hashtags FindGeorgina and TeamFindGeorgina to help keep her story known and circulating. Ran away to join a cult? On the 25th of April 2017, 49-year-old mother of 2 Renata Antczak dropped her daughter off at Broadacre Primary School in Kingswood, Hull, only to never be seen again. 5 years on and the mystery is still baffling. She was last seen on the school's CCTV in a distinctive bright yellow puffer jacket dropping her daughter off. She was reported missing by her husband that night. Numerous searches have been carried out, appeals and even arrests. But as of today, the case is at a dead end. Police haven't given up on Renata's case and say it is still an active investigation. However, they now treat this as a murder case with no body. Renata's husband, however, theorises that she may have run off to join a cult. He thinks that she joined a cult when on a trip back to her native country, Poland, and had been keeping in touch with members by phone. She had also moved her youngest child's birthday celebrations forward by 3 weeks from the 30th of April to the 8th, which to him suggests she was planning on fleeing. The month prior to her disappearance, she had also told him she wanted a divorce and to take their daughter to live with her in Poland. The Polish police have also searched for her, but there's been no trace. The saddest part is Renata has now missed multiple birthdays and Christmases with her 2 daughters, and her youngest tells her family, "I miss Mummy so much. Perhaps she'll come back. Perhaps she will come back." The disappearance of Renata is still a mystery, and the agony of not knowing what happened to her continues to haunt her family and friends. If you have any information that could assist in the investigation, I urge you to contact the police on 101 and quote the log 324, 26th of April 2017. Not a happy new year. On New Year's Day 2008, 15-year-old Amy Fitzpartick, an Irish expat living in Malaga, Spain, had been asked to come over to her friend Ashley's house to babysit her brother. After babysitting, she borrows some of Ashley's clothes and takes a bag with her dirty ones as she heads back home. That was the last time anyone saw Amy. She disappeared with no money, passport or phone. Unfortunately, due to the timing of the disappearance, the initial search for Amy was scaled back for the first week due to New Year's and another Spanish national holiday on the 6th of January called Epiphany, which is when they usually exchange most of their Christmas presents. Police did locate a bra and a bag of clothes just 500 metres away from her home. However, after further investigation, it was determined these were not Amy's. In 2009, Audrey Fitzpatrick, Amy's mother, received a ransom phone call from a man with what she described as an African accent. He said he knew the location of Amy, but in exchange for his information he wanted €500,000, about £445,000 or $695,000 given the exchange rates at the time. In 2012, it was reported that an apparent credible source had tipped off the police that an Irish gangland killer called Eric Lucky Wilson had killed Amy, but as it stands, it has not been confirmed whether he had or had not, and Amy is still missing. Even more sadly for Audrey, in 2013, 5 years after Amy's disappearance, she also lost her son when an altercation took place between her son Dean and his stepdad Dave. Dave stabbed Dean in the abdomen and was found guilty of manslaughter and served a 5-year sentence. As of 2021, Dave and Audrey were still together. This case leaves us with so many questions. What happened to Amy? Did she run away? Was she killed by Eric Wilson? Did the ransom caller actually have information? Or was there something closer to home that may have sealed her fate? Let me know what you think in the comments. On the 28th of December 1992, 23-year-old Stephen Clark entered a public toilet in Saltburn, only to never be seen again. Stephen was in Saltburn that day with his parents, Doris and Charles. Stephen was previously left disabled from a road accident that caused permanent damage to his left arm and gave him a limp. So whilst his dad was watching a match, his mother escorted Stephen to the public toilets. Unfortunately, this is where the story gets a little muddy. I have managed to find 2 different stories about what happens next. The first is that Doris waits outside, and when he doesn't come out, she informs Charles and they start searching for him. The next version is that while Stephen goes into the gents, she also goes into the ladies, and when she comes out and doesn't see him, assumes he has gone home. In 1999, 7 years after the disappearance, a mystery letter arrived to the police in which the writer stated that Stephen was dead and knew who the culprit was. In 2020, the writer of that letter finally came forward, and also during that time, Stephen's parents were arrested on suspicion of his disappearance. Both their home and garden were searched, but they were later released. There has since been an investigative documentary following the experience of Stephen's parents as they were accused of murdering their son. It is available on ITV, and it is called Accused of Murdering Our Son, the Stephen Clark Story. Nearly 30 years on from his disappearance, and we still don't know what happened to Stephen. From acting on our screens to disappearing without a trace, in the early 1990s the BBC produced a 156-episode soap opera that ran over the course of a year called El Dorado, a series focusing on expats living in the fictional town of Los Barcos in Spain. Amongst the cast was an actor called John Leach, and he appeared in 6 episodes as a character named Eddie. Fast forward to 2012, John, then aged 65, was retired and now living in the Costa del Sol. He's enjoying life. He has a daily routine and he sticks to it every day without question, so his family were very alarmed when on the 21st of August that year, he didn't return home. John was last seen walking near the El Sheriff bar at 12:30 in the afternoon. He was carrying €10 in cash and his mobile phone, but didn't answer any calls. Unfortunately, so far I've been unable to locate any more information or theories as to what happened with John. All articles found during research got as far as this and then nothing. It's like the man vanished into thin air. More recently, nearly 10 years later, and the town John lived in the Costa del Sol showed its support on the 9th of March, which is called the Day of the Missing, by dedicating a park to 5 of its long-term missing persons cases and planted a tree for each person, which includes John Leach and also Amy Fitzpartick. Do you have any information I've missed or theories? Be sure to let me know in the comments.